Hey man, how's it going? Oh, appreciate once again joining today. This is Ayalin. Basically, I always mess up your name. Is it Ayalin or Ali?
Italian.
Okay, Alian. But yeah, we've been working for the last, I want to say year and a half, 2 years. This is now like the second brand that we're working on. It's in like the home goods niche. But yeah, I appreciate you obviously jumping on. Tell me a bit about like your business, what you guys are currently doing online right now and overall like maybe what you even did before and how it got you into this.
Yeah, 100%, man. Yeah, you were like the first email agency I worked with. So I think like a couple years ago, we scaled up like a retro gaming brand, and that was like an instant kind of success. It just blew up right off the bat. I think I was first to market with that, right? And like I got connected to you through like Isaac or whatever, and like it was just like right off the bat, I could tell you kind of had that design down. I think that was the coolest thing. Like I remember like the designs you guys showed for like the retro gaming brand early on were like really really fire. And I really liked that. So we worked together, and like it was like each email was bringing like I think 1K, 2K right off the bat. Right, that was a good time. And the flows too that kicked in. Like I didn't understand the importance of flows either. To be honest, I was like, oh, campaigns are all that matter. But like you guys kind of like just hands off, just fully went in and like made the funnel. And like the more traffic you drove, the more conversions we obviously got. Right, and like every item I added, it was just like more fuel to the fire. Right, so that was the previous brand, and like that was a really fun time. Right, obviously we had like ups and downs. Nintendo closing it down, whatever, right? But then obviously because we had such a good experience, we came back for the home goods brand that we're scaling up now. And like the goal for this brand was to like not blow it up as we did with Retrofix, keep it slow and steady, right? Like that's why like we're very heavy on Google, very heavy on Pinterest, right? And because it's a higher conversion cycle, we understand that like you have to drive more sessions and then retarget with flows. Right, that is kind of the main kind of goal that we're doing for this brand, keep it long term, and ideally go for an exit. So yeah, for this brand, I think we've done like we started at like 8 months ago, and like we've done 700K in revenue, right? Between TikTok Shop, between Google, between Meta, and Pinterest. Like we tried all the platforms for this one. So yeah, I mean, hopefully that answers your question. Am I missing any gaps there? Or
No, that's
yeah.
awesome. Yeah, because like it's always cool to know like the transition of things as well too. Like it's great to see like a lot of brands nowadays. Like they always started off with like their drop shipping phase, doing something
Mhm.
gimmicky and stuff, and then they sort of realize, okay, this is like a really cool
Yeah.
business model. Let me go ahead and transition this into a legitimate brand, which is exactly what you guys are doing today.
Mhm.
And even like the types of products that you guys are selling are extremely unique. It's not like it's time heavy, seasonality heavy.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
purely just based off like you're building a good brand day by day. And yeah, I mean, you guys are definitely reaping the reward as a result. So that's awesome to hear. In terms of like before and after, like what did you see the actual lift for? Because I have the account pulled up here. You guys did around 700K in revenue, which is amazing in such that short amount of time. We pulled in around 109K from emails, but just on your end, in terms of lift, like what was the before and after? Like, did you guys visibly see it? Like, how are things basically different?
Yeah, yeah. So the one thing I want to put out is like the reason why I like working with you guys is that it's like I don't need to worry about that. Like I know the lift is like gonna happen regardless because I worked with you before. But like in terms of the visible shift, it's like I think we initially did like a flow deal where it's like just set up flows for us, right? And the second we set up flows, and we already it was during Q4, so we knew we were gonna be driving a lot of traffic. We set up those flows, and it was just like instantaneous almost, right? Because we were already driving that many sessions. We just need to bring people back. And like having that kind of like mechanism in place is so important. I didn't understand it, right? Until I saw it, right? So like honestly, like I think the first month, right after we set the flows, the more traffic we drove, the better. And then when we had our 2 big months, right? Then I think when Jan came around, we started campaigns. And like although
Right.
it started off a little bit, like obviously it makes sense, like Q4 ended, now people are gonna like lay off with this buying or whatever. Even with that kind of like mentality, the campaigns drove in even more, right? Because I
Right.
think you know this best, like community building is so important, and especially because for this business, what we're trying to do is grow very horizontally and add more and more SKUs. Like we have over 1,000 SKUs, right? And we have so many collections because we want to take over that whole home goods niche, right? Campaigns for that become like very, very useful because, like you say yourself, this is the only audience we actually own. And these are like
Right.
warm audiences, they're tapped in, and like because the products are like branded, boxed up, right? This time around, it's like that brand feeling with emails go a long way, right? So yeah, to answer your question, I think pretty instantaneously for flows. Campaigns, yes, they take a little bit of time to warm up or whatever, but like once the ball gets rolling and the more sessions you drive, it's like and like everything rises up, right? That's why I
Yeah,
love kind of like email
absolutely.
marketing.
A lot of the times people don't realize, like, say for example, you have a really big month from flows or even like the first month, like you mentioned in Q4, you guys are scaling up pretty heavy. As long as you have a really good opt-in form and you have those contacts actually stored within your list, then you're able to reuse them whenever, right? So it's think about it like this, say they purchased in December, they're not gonna purchase at the end of December again. They're gonna wait, enjoy the product, and then they're probably gonna come back January and February, but they will be happy to do so because you're constantly sending them emails reminding them to purchase. So
Mhm.
that's definitely great. In terms of challenges, like, what challenges did you guys have? Like, what were your main frustrations with email? I guess, like, you don't really have to basically look at it from the point of view with this brand, but maybe starting off with the other brand when we first started working, because correct me if I'm wrong, that was the first time that you guys had like a full stack email agency that was
Yeah.
controlling everything, right? So what were your frustrations that led you to like, even switch over to working with us in the first place?
That's a really good question. I feel like I just didn't know what the powers of email were at the time. Like I just set up like the Shopify basic email and I was like, oh, it's working. And it was working. But like that's when my friends were like, no, like you need to get an email agency. Like you need some experts to go in there because you're keeping money on the table. Right. Like you
Right.
need to have, I think the metric is like 20% of your revenue should be emails. And I was like, oh,
Right.
interesting. Like I wonder what I'm doing wrong. I let it do my own thing for a bit. But like even then I was like, okay, this is not working out. And then when I met with you, like I think the main frustration was just like I didn't have time to manage it, right? And second, I didn't even know what to do. And the design aspect, I didn't know what to do either. And I didn't understand, like, you know how like you have like the different flows for abandoned cart,
Yes.
abandonment, whatever. I didn't understand the like methodologies behind that either. So like I think that was my main frustration. It's like, wait, like what
Right.
exactly should I do? And like as a you know as a business owner, like you have so many things to manage. If you can have a trusted team that can set that up for you, and do a really good job of it, I think like anyone would, it's a no-brainer, right? So like that's
Exactly.
why that's why I found you guys and like I was like, you know what, like yeah, let's see how it goes. And it was yeah, obviously like set up really well and like the flows itself were just like amazing. Like I think like 7 emails per flow, right? Or 10 emails. Like that is like so,
Yeah.
so useful. Right. So it taught me a lot as well as kind of like a business owner, right?
I appreciate
Mhm.
that. Yeah. So in terms of time commitment, like what does that look like for you on a monthly basis? Like
Mhm.
would you say that you're having to reach out to us a lot of the times? Like there's a lot of
Mhm.
issues, you have to fix things, or like is it relatively hands off? Like what was your honest experience
Oh,
with
yeah,
that?
yeah, no, I think, like, that's why, like, I would only work with you guys because it's so hands off. Like, I don't need to, like, keep checking in and be like, "Yo, what's going on?" It's very like, first of all, the campaigns this time around, like, insane. Like, there's just so many, and it's just like, "Oh, I can just leave it on autopilot," and that's what everyone wants. Like, you know this best, like, agencies, oh my god, like, I got, like, burnt so much building they just charge so much and, like, I have to keep checking in. That's, like, my biggest fear now, and, like, that's why we keep it so lean now.
Right.
Because I was making so much money before, I didn't care. I was like, whatever, like throw it everywhere. But then I realized, like long term, that can destroy you, right? Like that will
Exactly.
burn you out. And that's the thing I really like. Like I only work with like maybe like 2, 3 agencies now that I really trust for any brands I'll make. And like I'm happy that I found like this where it's like, oh, time commitment is low. I don't have to check in. I know campaigns are rolling in. I know flows are already set up, and I know you guys are iterating on all that stuff too. That's the main thing, right? And I also like I do want to get into like more like listicles and like more funnel building down the line, like when we have that
Right.
scale, like that's also there like options for like more things kind of in the future, right?
Exactly, yeah. In terms of, because you mentioned, like, we handle a lot of things from, like, design, copy, implementation, like, obviously results, right? In which area would you say you got the most value, right?
Ooh, good question. Most value. I mean, that's hard to pick one thing. I feel like, okay, for this brand, I do think flows and iterating on the flows, I think that would be the biggest thing because I know our
Absolutely, yeah.
conversion cycle, higher AOV items require more retargeting. It's that simple,
More
right?
nurturing,
So that
absolutely,
is
yeah.
where I found the most benefit here. I think for the previous brand, I think it was the design of the campaigns. Like, I really liked one thing you guys did where it was like less sales and more like newsletter-esque like emails or
Educational formats.
yeah, educational. Yeah, like it was like brain teasers, like why games are good for your brain. There was like angles
Right.
like that. Like I don't know how deep you guys go into the research, but that is one thing that I really appreciate. Like actually like doing the work behind each brand and identifying what untapped angles could be, and then making emails around that. I think that goes a very, very long white glove kind of service type way, right?
Awesome, yeah.
Yeah.
And based on the results so far, like, where do you see the business within the next, like, 6 to 12 months, right? Obviously, email alone, but also, like, the impact that email will have on the front end as well too, right?
That's a really good question. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like it's really like I feel like email is a really good like add-on to whatever you're doing. So like in terms of like one side of the business, which may be Google, Meta, whatever, all the ad platforms, we want to keep it stable up till like Q4, right? And then like scale up very, very heavy. And that is when like, we have all your special emails that come in with the campaigns, whether that be for, Thanksgiving, whatever, 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 right? And like I feel like with that, we do want to cross the seven-figure mark, obviously. Hopefully do that in the next couple of months. But then in Q4, we want to get that even higher, right? And then
Right.
increase the, volume of campaigns or iterate the flows to a point where it's like, oh, we know that this works, right? And maybe even have some custom flows set up, right? Where it's like, oh,
Yeah.
like this is gonna bang for Q4. So my goal personally is like, I don't know, like ideally like 1.5 mil would be like really, really good, I feel. And like email, of course, would play a really big a part into that. And I haven't even talked about SMS yet. I feel like one thing
Yeah.
about our brand specifically is SMS goes very, very hard, I believe. Now, I don't know about campaigns,
Yeah.
but flow wise. So that's another thing that we could utilize. So like I just feel like there's so many like so much potential, right? And it's all about like how the system works together. And what I like is like one part of the system, like I know will work well. It's about the other system like actually acting right. Like I think January was a very, very good month. And it was like 30% of the revenue came from emails, I think, right? So even if it
Right.
has some attribution, like even if email has some play in getting the sale, like that's amazing, regardless, right? Before
Yeah.
I took that for granted, but like now I see, oh, like the fact that a customer saw an email, maybe went on Google, searched it up and bought it, whatever the heck, that in itself is so big, right? So I know I jumped around a bit, but like that is kind of
No, no,
how I'm seeing the.
absolutely. It's always great to hear like different
Mhm,
insights and point of views as well too,
mhm,
because naturally, like it's good for us to know as well too, like your targets and then where we could fall in terms of that as well.
mhm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, just wrapping this up, a few like final remarks and questions. Like, what would you say surprised you about the service? Like, I'm sure you had misconceptions with email agencies in the past before, as you mentioned, but like,
Mhm.
what was the main surprising factor? I feel like the answer is going to be the fact that it was actually really hands off because
Yeah.
I get that. We get that a lot, like, that's the most important thing.
Yeah, I think hands off would be the biggest thing, but I think design as well. I do really like the designs. Even your website, I really like, and I've used that for inspiration for my own kind of like design stuff that I'm working on. I'm like, oh, like I like the way this site is laid out. I like how you guys are showing your, the different email designs used for other brands, right? I really
Right.
like I like the design aspect the most, I believe. And like I just think you have a lot of insight as well into the game. So like that, I always like to tap your brain and just be like, yo, like what's like what do you think about this? Like I like doing that as well. So like having like a trusted network, having like good design kind of principles, and like one thing that you said that like I also tell my teams as well is like simple stuff like when you're going through an email and you're adding more like CTA buttons at each
Right.
point. Right, that in itself is so powerful. Like we use that for our
Yeah.
listicles as well as like now because I saw a tweet or something that you said, I'm like, oh, that's interesting, right? So it's like, yeah, as you're scrolling, just push them more softly to like
Yeah,
buy,
more
right?
buttons will
Yeah.
get more clicks, like, that's tried and true for sure.
Exactly, right? And, like, even things like that, like, I just like the tidbits of info that we get, but I think yeah, I think my favorite thing would probably be the design aspect and just like, hey, when I'm like, "Oh, like, what about this?" It's like, it's done pretty quickly, right? That's another thing that I really like and, like, yeah, I can just, like I like just throwing my thoughts on every Slack channel and, like, having you guys, like, kinda, like, structure around that. That's another thing I really like to do 'cause I think a lot, I work a lot, I just wanna, like, get it out there and then move on to the next thing. So,
Right.
it's good having that structure, I think.
Yeah, man, so aside from that, if someone were on the fence on working with us, like, what would you tell them? Like, how likely are you to recommend Nest, and why should someone even listening right now act? Like, why should they even get emails,
Good.
handled?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't even know where to start. I feel like, I mean, first of all, just go for it, right? But like that's a surface level answer. I think a deeper answer would be like, I feel like if would you rather go to like McDonald's or would you rather go to an actual restaurant? You're probably gonna want to go to an actual restaurant with like proper steak, white glove service. Like if you have the money, if you have a brand that's running, you may as well, right? Because otherwise,
Right.
these guys, like I'm telling you, I've worked with freaking 12 plus agencies and like they will like promise so much on the call, like they will say so much crap and like they'll get you so excited. But then like when it comes to it, they're like the CEO isn't even there, nobody's there, flows are all over the place, campaigns are all over the place, and you're paying, bro. Like
Yeah,
charging 7K, 10K. It's like, bro, and they're taking a revenue share. It's like, oh my God, like it's a full on like I don't like using the word scam, but like it's a full on like just
that
like
to me, yeah.
take your money, like, it's just like that type of thing, right? Because these guys see the potential of your brand and they know you're an operator. So they're gonna use
Right.
that. Why wouldn't they? Right? So it's
Yeah,
about that, like, I think like you're not gonna get that this type of white glove service anywhere else and like a trusted service as well anywhere else. So if you're on the fence, I think obviously do your research, but like I don't know, like I feel like I know a lot of friends as well that work with you, and like I don't know
yeah,
anyone that has any complaints either. And like yeah, that's
right.
why like anyone that comes to me and is asking for you, I'm like, yeah, yeah, go to this guy. You get what I mean? Like it's that like funnel of like trust, I think. But hopefully that answers the question.
Yeah, man. Well, I appreciate you, obviously jumping on and going over a few of these things. That's honestly really cool to hear
Mhm.
that, especially now, like in the next 12-ish months, like that's your target. So I know for a fact I'm going to take that back to the team and make sure that we're
Beautiful.
aiming for those as well too. But yeah, man, I appreciate you jumping on. Was there any final things or anything else that you wanted to add?
No, I feel like we covered everything. Just yeah, no, excited to keep working together. I'm building 2 more brands, so excited to kind of see where we can go with that as well. I want to see like a proof of concept and then bring that because subs, like I also tap your brain a lot for subs. Like I know you
Yeah,
work heavily in that. Like that's one thing that's new for us. We've only scaled up physical products, right? And like I have scaled up brands without you as well, but like nothing crazy. That's why I never
right.
came to you. But like subs, I want to like really hit that out of the park, right? With all the research and whatnot that I'm doing. So excited to kind of continue. Yeah, I'll leave that as like my last kind of comment.
And well, I appreciate you once again. Have a great day, and yeah, look forward
Thanks,
to
man.
keeping on crushing it with the brand.
Sick, man. Appreciate you, man. Take it easy.